Yeah, we're live. Welcome everyone to this exciting webinar. So I have my co-presenter today. Before I introduce him, I'll just introduce myself a little. My name is Tayo Stephen, this MD CEO for Starry Academy. So before I allow the Dare to speak, who is our FA lecturer, I first want to welcome every one of you. So if you are just joining us, welcome. So please indicate by typing your name in the chat box and where you are joining us from. And then I will be able to acknowledge your presence. And once I acknowledge your presence, then we'll be able to move on. So if you are just joining us, please go ahead and tell us where you are joining us from. So while I'm waiting for you to tell us where you are joining us from, why are we doing this? The exam is coming up very soon. I remember many years ago when I started, actually I started with ATS exam, ATS. Um, Nobody did this for us then. I remember then that we went into the exam hall. It was when we get to the exam hall, we saw the question and the answer sheet, and therefore we couldn't familiarize ourselves with it. So, yeah, we did what we could, but through learning in the hard way, we decided to put all these things together. So we're doing exam techniques. Since this is the foundation exam of ICANN, it's very likely that um, this is the first time you are doing this exam, or um, you are just coming in now and you want to, we don't want surprises. Yeah, we don't want surprises. So we don't want you to go into the exam hall and feel. So that's why we're putting all of these together. So thank you, Moses from Lagos. So let me know where you're joining us from. Please just type your name and where you are joining us from in the chat box. So it's going to be approximately 1 hour. Thank you, Femi. Thank you for joining. And where are you joining us from, Femi? Um, okay, so approximately 1 hour. Some of the things we are going to talk about, the previous webinar we have run for other classes, this comments of the student were mind-blowing. We are quite encouraged from what the student have told us. So Femi joining us from Lagos as well. Thank you for joining. While we wait for others that will be coming, as soon as you come in, please just tell us where you are joining from so that we can acknowledge your presence. If we don't acknowledge your presence, then we will do that as we go along. So we want as many students as possible to pass the exam. So, and that's why we are running this webinar. It's a free webinar for everybody. Moturayo, thank you for joining from Ogun. Where in Ogun State are you joining us from? Is it Abeokuta? Is it Ilaro? So we don't want anybody to get any pleasant surprise because if you know a problem, then they say it is half solved. All right. So yeah. Um, so I will hand over to Dari, who is our FA lecturer. So Dari, over to you now.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. You are all welcome. I want to share the webinar um, information with you all so that you can be able to follow me as we move on with the presentation. So I will share it with you, and you are going to use it to follow me up as we explain some of the things that are necessary for you to know as you get ready for this exam, which is ahead of us. So I'm sharing my screen now. If you can't see it, you let us know. But if you can, I believe as I'm sharing it now, you are going to see it, and we will use it to carry
Yeah,
on with the
I can see
presentation.
it.
All right.
I can see that you are sharing your screen already.
All right. Can we all see it now?
Yes.
All right. All right. So once again, you are all welcome to ICANN exam webinar, financial accounting, and this presentation is powered by Starry Gold Academy. The essence why we have prepared this for us is to give us some insight. You know, examination is not just you preparing, reading, and you need to know certain things that will enable you succeed and come out the best in your forthcoming exams. And that's why this webinar has been organized and prepared to give you certain information which you need to know in preparation for your financial accounting exam that is ahead. Okay, so there are three objectives which we want to look at. The next thing we are looking at is the objective of this presentation. Okay, so you can see it from the screen. We have three objectives. At the end of this webinar, students will understand and appreciate three things: how to effectively manage your time, which we have tagged effective time management. You can see it on the screen. Two, reviewing, understanding, and analyzing questions requirement carefully. Now, a lot of students, they are very intelligent, but they don't know how to manage time. So we're going to teach you effective time management, how you can timely manage yourself in the exam, meeting up with all questions within the time and answering them well. Then after that, we also want you to understand some verbs that is constructed in the content of the questions that you will be answering, and what examiners require you to know about those verbs, and how you can present or write down your answers, and so that you'll be able to do well towards the forthcoming exam. Then number three, structuring answers to earn more marks. Okay, we're going to teach you how you can structure your answers for the purpose of earning more marks and then coming out the best in the exam. Okay, you can see it, understanding the questions: analyze, apply, assess, calculate, comment, compare, conclusion, criticize, define, describe, discuss, evaluate, explain, illustrate, interpret, list, outline, prepare, recommend, relate, state, summarize. By the time you read it down, these are wonderful verbs that are used in our exams to give us questions. Most times, examiners use these verbs. It's only students that understand the verb and the requirement of those verbs that gives the right answers that meet up with examiners' request. So by the time you are able to give the right answer because you understand these verbs, then you'll be good to go. That's why we have a lot of students, oh, I know it, but I don't know why what I wrote down, they don't seem to give me the good marks that make me pass my exam, or that will make me pass the exam. A lot of students complain is because they don't understand these verbs and the requirements and how they are to present their work in a way that they will get and earn more mark. That's why a lot of students fail. But for the purpose of FA, we may not use all these verbs. Not all the verbs here are not required. From as a lecturer, based on our research work and findings, and if you have gone through a lot of FA past question, foundation, financial accounting foundation past questions, not all verbs here are always used. You will find out that not all are used. But for the purpose of this presentation, we have carefully selected some of these verbs that are used often and often in your financial accounting foundation past questions. Okay, so on the basis of that, we are going to focus on those ones so that you can understand them and know the examiner's requirements and how you are to answer them. Are we together?
Yeah, you
Students,
can
are
go
we
on.
together?
Yeah, they may not
All right.
respond except in the comment section. So just go on. The time is already running. So I want to use this time to welcome those who are just joining. I can see a number of people are joining us. Please tell us your name and where you are joining us from so that we can acknowledge you. Yeah, Femi, I haven't, okay, no. Moturayo from Ogun State. Which part of Ogun State? So if you are just joining us, please um, put your name in the chat box and where you are joining us from. So yeah, Dari, you need to increase your speed. Time is going. All
Okay,
right,
sir.
over to you.
All right, sir. All right, so let's move on. When answering an exam question, it is important to consider the question requirements carefully to understand exactly what is being asked. Please take note of that. Every question has a requirement by the examiners. So your understanding of these verbs will make you understand exams requirements and give the right answer. Now, the following points will help you understand the question effectively. We want to start with the verb calculate, because in FA it's more of calculation, and sometimes maybe you are asked to state or list, so it's more of calculation. The first verb we are looking at is where you are asked to calculate. Look at the exam requirement. This entails computing using mathematical process of determining the value of an outcome. What does that mean? When you are asked to calculate, they want you to use a mathematical process to determine the value of your outcome. Now look at this question, exam type question. Look at it. The extract from the financial statement of Benchmark Ventures for the year ended September 30th, 2019 is as follows. Look at it. Benchmark Venture has capital 84, net profit 15, drawings 9, cash equivalent 3, payables 50, inventory 29, receivables 35. Now look at the examiner's requirement. Calculate working capital of the business. You can see that. Calculate working capital. It means compute using mathematical process to determine the value and the outcome of your working capital. The first thing you need to do, remind yourself the formula. What is the formula of working capital? Okay, current asset minus current liability. Then you now select what are my current assets, the figures of your current assets, subtract it from the figures of your current liabilities. You get the working capital. So find the figures of all the items that are current asset there, add them together, find all the items that are current liability, add them together, and then subtract. Then you get your working capital. It's as simple as that. Are we together? Now let's move to the next one. Criticize. It's not basically use more, okay? But in case you see this, know that the examiner's requirement is that they want you to analyze a situation to identify maybe the weakness or the problems or the challenges of that thing you want to analyze. Okay? Please, you are not to explain the situation, but you are to just tell them the weakness or the problem of that thing you are asked to analyze. You don't need to go in detailed explanation. Please take note. Then we go to the next one. The next verb there is define. What is examiner's requirement? This entails giving meaning to a question. Ensure to keep it short and relevant. You don't have to give too much information about it. You are to ensure to keep it short and relevant. Look at an exam style question. Define control account. If you want to define this in an exam circumstance, you just make your examiners know that control account is a memorandum account, that is a totals account. It is an account that enables a business organization to identify all its customers that are owing them and all its suppliers that they want to pay. So therefore, receivables ledger will be prepared and payables ledger will be prepared. By the time you identify this, a full stop. You don't need to give too much details in definition. You go 1, 2, 3 lines is okay. The same thing goes to error of omission. Go straight to the point, define it, and then you are good to go. Are we together? Let's move to the next slide. Describe. The next slide is what? Describe. What's the examiner's requirement? You can see there, This entails giving a detailed account of the qualities, features of a concept. You can see that. So you have to give the qualities or the features of a concept. You are not to tell them stories. You have to just tell them the features of something. Look at an exam style question there. Financial statement is one of the documents used by auditors in carrying out their work. Describe the concept accounting information. Now, this concept, they want you to tell them the characteristics of accounting information. What are the characteristics that shows that this information is an accounting information? So you start illustrating, you start telling them in form of a statement. You can quickly tell them what accounting information is all about, and then you now start stating the characteristics of a good accounting information. Reliability, understandability, objectivity. These are the characteristics of a good accounting information. So you make them understand each of them, putting it in a statement form. You are good to go. Are we together? Take note of that. It's very, very important. That is describing. So to describe a concept is to tell them the qualities or the characteristics of that concept. Please don't forget. Let's go to the next slide. All right, the next slide is the next verb. And what is it? Discuss. What you need to know as the examiner's requirement is that discuss, it entails examining in detail. You can see that. Take note of that word, in detail, using arguments about the advantage and the disadvantage of an issue, the pros, the advantage, cons, the disadvantage of a particular issue. Take note of that. Now look at this. Adex just established a newly sole proprietorship firm. Adex is a businessman. He just set up a newly sole proprietorship firm. He is considering setting up a good accounting system for his firm. Now, you are asked to discuss bookkeeping and accounting as it relates to Adex plans. Now, what they want you to do is to tell Adex business the advantages of bookkeeping and the disadvantages of bookkeeping and accounting. As bookkeeping and accounting has its advantages, it also has its disadvantages. So when you are asked to discuss, don't go there and tell them any other thing aside the merits and the demerits. Okay, but you put it in an argument form. What do we mean by argument form? In terms of, okay, let me use an example. For example, you want to tell them about the merits of bookkeeping and accounting. You make them understand that one of the merits of bookkeeping and accounting is that it enables a firm to be able to determine its profit or loss. Then when you are not trying to put it in argument form, but despite the fact that it enables a business to ascertain profit or loss, sometimes records are historical, making bookkeepers or accountants to always refer back, which sometimes take the accountant's time. They're trying to put it in an argument form. Do you understand? That is what it means to put a question in a discursive, argumentative form. Take note of that.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much. Thank you very much, Dari. So if you are just joining us, I want to welcome you to this webinar. Please, by the right-hand side, if you are using your computer, you will see chat there. Please leave your name and where you are joining us from. So Odu Ajibola, thank you for joining us. So where are you joining us from? Please let us know so that we can acknowledge you. So a few more people have come in now. Let's know where you are joining us from, please. So let's take note that we are not solving or answering these questions here. We are just explaining because of time. We're just explaining what those verbs mean. So that we can save time. We're not trying to answer the questions. Okay, I is Badagry. Ajibola is joining us from Badagry. So welcome. So we're not answering the questions. We're just trying to explain all of this. Hello, Samuel. Welcome. Samuel, where are you? Oh, from Warri. How is Warri this afternoon? I hope everything is well with you there. You're welcome. Ifeoluwa, welcome. You're joining us from Songwater. Welcome. How is Songwater today? All right. So we're not answering question because 1 hour is not enough to answer this question because the exam will give you 3 hours, and so we're just explaining the verb. So Gloria, you are welcome. You're joining us from Songwater. So I Songwater today as well. All right. So back to you, Dari. You can please proceed.
All
Um,
right.
Spend, I
So,
think, 20 minutes. I think you have 10 minutes more so that you can be
okay.
fast.
All right, sir. So we move to the next slide. All right, the next slide, we are now looking at the verb explain because some of your FA questions wants you to explain. Okay. Examiner's requirement. This entails making the answer clear, supporting it with enough details that are relevant, concise, and explanatory. Please take note of that. Now, what we are trying to say here, in case you are given an exam style question, okay, let's look at the exam style question because of our time. The exam style question here says, the objective of IAS 16, property, plants, and equipment, is
Yeah,
to make clear.
we may not even read that. We may just go to the
Okay,
requirements that says
okay,
explain the requirements of IS 16. So you
okay.
can just read the requirements and then move on from there because of our time.
Because of time.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
So all right, sir. So take note, the requirement wants you to explain, supporting your questions with details, explanation on the relevance and how important that concept is. So you don't have to waste much time, but you must make it detailed enough. All right. So let's move to the next one. The next one says list. Examiner's requirement says this entails outlining several ideas, aspects, events, things, qualities. Note that in listing, you don't explain. For example, list 5 users of accounting information. You just tell them managers, employees, number one, manager, number two, employees. That's how to list. Of course, we are familiar with this. Let's go to the next slide.
Yes, for
Outline.
that list, when they say list, it means just itemize them, just write them out. You don't have to, but make sure you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or A, B, C, D, E. Make sure you number those when you are listing. Okay, please go on. Yeah, welcome, Nelson. Nelson is joining us from Warri. That's interesting. Welcome, Nelson. All right, so let's go on, please.
Okay. All right. The next verb which we need to take note of is outline. Outline. Examiner's requirement. This entails giving a summarized explanation on the highlighted points stated or giving the main point in form of sentence. You can see that outline. For example, if you are asked to outline exam type question, outline 5 functions of accounting. What you are to do is give a preamble, 5 functions of accounting. Then you now start stating them. Number one, the collection of assets, the collection of accounting receivables and payables is one of the functions of accounting. Number two, the preparation of books of accounts is one of the functions of accounting. Number three, that is what it means to outline. You are not trying, you just put it in a sentence form. Are we together? So you put them in a sentence form. Don't forget. It's very, very simple. All right. Okay. I think we are in the next slide now that talks about effective time management. Your approach to planning your time for the exam is crucial for completing the exam and ensuring the best use of the time available. Don't forget your approach to it. Now, this segment is one of the most important aspects of this presentation. A lot of students don't know how to present. I mean, they don't know how to manage their time, rather, while answering their questions. And so it affects their performances in exam. Let's look at the next
All
slide.
right. Thank you very much. So before we go on, if you have any question, please leave them in the chat box. Someone is asking, please, can this be recorded to enable listening to it later on? Yes. We're recording this and it will be available in the member area. If you already have a video lecture, it will be available for you free. And if you come back again after the webinar and rejoin, you will see, you can watch it all over again. And please remember to share this link to every other person that are preparing for this exam. So if you have a question, make sure to type it in the chat box there. If you are using your laptop, the chat box is by your right. If you are using your phone, it is down below the video. So make sure that you type in your question so that we can take care of them. If this is not your first time of doing this exam, maybe you went and you didn't pass, maybe some things came up and you didn't understand, this is the best time to bring up those questions. So, and if you have never done the exam before and you have questions relating to the exam, this is also the best time to ask. All right, go ahead, Dari.
All right, so we move to the first one, timing. Okay, now in timing, the exam is a 3 hour 15 minutes paper. Don't forget. Now you have reading time of 15 minutes, attempting question time of 3 hours. Please take note of that. Now in your reading time, don't answer questions because you are too curious to write something down. It's very, very wrong. Take your time to go through the questions. Have a survey of all the questions. In the reading time, you are looking at areas where you have strength, where you can easily, where you understand more, or is still fresh in your brain. You identify those ones in your reading time. You check the ones you know you can do. You order your questions in accordance with the way you can easily do it. For example, if question 5, you can easily do it, or you put question 5 as 1, where the one you want to attempt first. If question 3 is the second one, you mark question 3 as 2. So in your reading time, you are going through it to organize your work, to look at the way you want to answer it, to look at some formulas you want to put down and use to attempt the question. So you are thinking strategies on how to plan your work during reading time. So you are not to attempt it during reading time. So reading time is a time to have a quick survey of the questions. That's one. Number two, after having a quick survey, highlight the ones you want to attempt according to your ability or according to your strength in each of the questions. Okay, so that is the reading time. So you use it to plan how you want to attempt the questions. You use it to organize how you want to attempt the questions. And you also use it to set the timing you want to use for every questions. That's what the reading time is meant for. Then the attempting time is 3 hours. The question will be in 2 sections. Of course, don't forget to be in 2 sections. Section A, this consists of 20 compulsory multiple choice questions, and you are not expected to spend more than 2 to 3 minutes. If it's too much, 3 minutes, so that you use 1 hour for 20 questions, then the remaining 2 hours to answer the section B. Section B consists of 6 questions, 20 marks each. Note, you are expected to answer 4 questions out of the 6. You are not to answer all the 6, 4 out of the 6. And you are expected to spend just 30 minutes. Once you finish a question and it's 30 minutes, leave it. Go to the next questions. Sometimes you may not finish everything, but stop where you are, go to the next questions so that you can attempt at least all of them. Because if you fail, if examiner wants you to attempt 4 and you attempt 3, it's against the rule. But it's good you attempt all of them. Even if you can't finish all of them, ensure you attempt all of them. Once your 30 minutes for one question is over, go to the next question. The next question, you can even finish it within 20 to 25 minutes. Then use the remaining 5 minutes to come back to that one that you did not finish. There are some questions like that that are easy to quickly attempt. So some questions you may not spend up to 30 minutes to finish them. So when you finish those ones, quickly go to the next one. Before you know it, if you are following the timing like that, there is tendency you may even finish all the 4 questions and you are still having enough time to come back to the first ones or the second ones that you could not complete. Do you understand? Also, when answering questions, ensure they are answered on new pages. Question 1 must be answered on a fresh new page. When you finish all question 1 and it enter the next page, question 2, answer it in a fresh new page. Please don't forget. Question 1 new page, question 2 new page, same as question 3 and 4. Remember to leave enough space for each unit within a particular question. Take note of that. Don't lump all your answers together. Leave enough space so that when examiners are also marking, it makes their work easier and it makes them see you as an organized presenter of your answers. Please, question 1A, you must indicate 1A. Where there is 1B, you indicate 1B on top at the center, 1C, depending on the exam type. Don't forget. All right. Now, the next one is how to maximize your marks. How to maximize your marks. Comments. Candidates are advised to read the Starry Gold Academic Study Solution Pack. Please take note. Read Starry Gold Academic Solution Pack. Starry Gold Study Solution Pack is very important.
Yeah, I'll be throwing more light on that briefly once you finish.
Okay.
So yeah, so just for those who are just joining us, please let's know where you are joining us from so that we can acknowledge your presence. All right, I think you have 1 minute more, Barry. Please go ahead.
Okay. Then candidates' major pitfall was their shallow understanding of subject matters topic. So it means
Yeah,
one of
this
the
is actually what we got from the examiner. These are the comments that the examiner gave us. One of the pitfall of students is because they show shallow understanding of the topic. So that's why we're advising you to use Starry Gold video lectures for your preparation, because there we go into in-depth explaining what you need purely for the exam. All right, go ahead, Dari.
All right, so let's take note of that. Candidates are advised to read the topic more deeply when preparing for future exams. In other
Yeah,
words,
thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. We actually advise you to use our video lecture and go through it at least 2 times before the exam. The reason is that it covers about 95% of the entire syllabus. We cannot tell you that it covers 100% because you see, I can't keep testing contemporary issues. So, but as soon as we get those contemporary issues, we update the video. Remember that you don't need 100 mark to pass the exam. You just need 50 mark to pass. So this part is very, very important that you read very deeply. But you see, if you are working, for instance, you won't have much time. If you are working, you won't have much time. So that's why we advise that you should use video lecture. But I'll give more explanation as we go along. Please go on.
candidates are advised to answer case study questions in a more structured approach. In a more structured approach. What does that mean? In other words, when you are answering questions relating to case study, although as it relates to financial accounting foundation, you may not be required this. As you take up your professional exams, okay,
Yeah.
when you will be required more in other higher professional exams. Are we together? Now let's go to the next one. Starry Gold Academy Study Solution contains relevant case studies and solutions. Okay, so that
Yeah,
is
you can move on. I will explain more about that later.
all right. Section A,
Thank you.
MC question, multiple choice question. Answer the question without looking at the options. You know what that means? It means you should be able to give answer even without you looking at whether the answer is A or B or C. A smart student who have been reading, who have gone through the video lectures of Starry Gold, you have over and over and over again, at least 3 to 4 times before you begin to review past questions. You should be able to give answers to question even before you look at option. It
Yeah,
will
what
help
this
you.
actually mean, yeah, what this actually mean is that when you read the question, right, before you look at the options, you should have idea of the answer so that when you are looking through the option, you will just spot the answer immediately. So
Exactly.
that's what we are saying here. Then
Exactly.
please go on.
Eliminate the incorrect options. So, in other words, when you are trying to, oh, this one is not there, this one is out of it, this one is out of it, this is the answer. So, eliminate
Yeah,
the ones that are not, that are wrong, and then
yes,
you'll be able to identify the right one.
exactly. So don't pick the right one first that you think is the right one. Still go through the various options in the objective. That is the OBJ. Because sometimes one question is more correct than the other. So
Yes,
let's take
that's
note
true.
of that. Please go ahead.
Answer all the questions. In
Yeah,
other
it means
words,
attempt everything. It means
everything.
attempt all,
Exactly.
yes.
All right. Read the
Okay.
question carefully. Make sure you understand what the question is asking, because this one is
Yeah,
very important.
that's the verb that we explained earlier. If
Yes.
the question say describe, calculate, you must make sure that you get the requirement right. Many students leave the exam hall confident that they have passed, and when the result comes out, they see that they have failed, and they are wondering what happened. Many of them think that it's the witches from their village that have followed them to the exam hall. No, it is not necessarily that. So if the requirement say you should define and you are calculating, and you see, you are not really answering the question. You may have written 3 pages for that question, but you have not really answered the question. So it's not the volume of what you are writing that the examiner is looking for. It is whether you are answering the question as required. So the last one here say follow the instruction for the exams. I think the other ones here are pretty straightforward. I will take the issue up from here. You can
Okay.
please stop sharing your screen because of your time so that I can
Okay.
share my own screen.
All
So,
right.
Well, you list here in one of your articles where you make reference to these rating systems, the
Just click stop sharing screen. Okay, I think it has. Can you? I cannot. It's not.
oh, so sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't even know that I have muted my audio. So, like I said earlier, let's clap for Dari and let's give him thumb up and appreciation for the job he has done. So if you like what came up, please go ahead and tell us about that. Yeah, I can hear my own echo. What's happening? Yeah, Dari, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. It's clear now.
Okay, that's good. All right. So thank you for the feedback. So please let's give a reaction. Did you enjoy that? Okay, Ajibola is giving you so many thumb up. I think there are more than 10 here. Yeah, thank you, Gloria. Gloria is giving you a hand of applause. Thank you very much for that. Is it only Ajibola and Gloria that are in the class? So if you are there, let's get a reaction from you before we move on. So I'm waiting. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, somebody else gave thumb up. A lot of, I think that is Moturayo. Thank you very much. Okay, so let me go ahead. All right, Ifeoluwa, thank you so much. Thank you for enjoying the session. Now, you will please let me know if you are seeing my screen. Can you see my screen? Dari, you will be the one that will answer for our people.
Okay. Yes, I can see. Yes, I
All
can.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this session approximately will take 25 minutes and then we'll be done. So this is ICANN Pathfinder. So this place is a disclaimer from ICANN. So although these suggested solutions have been published under the institute name, they do not represent the view of the council of the institute. The suggested solutions are entirely the responsibility of their authors, and the institute will not entertain any correspondence on them. So when you have the Pathfinder, right, whatever solution you find there, it's not, I can't say they are the authors that provided the solution. They are the one that have responsibility for them. So ICANN does not have any responsibility for them. So that's a disclaimer, which means sometimes when you look at the Pathfinder, some solution there may not be correct. So that's why we pick the Pathfinder and we do them in video format, correct whatever error that we perceive or see there. So make sure you get the video lecture if you don't have it. So I'm showing you what's the exam question look like if you have never done this exam before. So this is the Institute of Accountant of Nigeria. Yeah, that way you can mute. So you can also unmute when you want to speak so that your background does not interfere. All right. So financial accounting, this is a foundation level exam, March, July 2020. Now, financial accounting time allowed is 3 hours, 3 1/4 hours, which means 3 hours and 15 minutes. Like Dare said earlier on, the 15 minutes there is for reading your question. It's reading time. Now, if you are doing FA, how should you utilize this 15 minutes? Number one, don't start reading um, session one. Session one is 20 questions, and each of them carry 1 mark each. So don't start doing what? Don't start reading that. Go straight to session two. Go straight to session two, because session two, yeah, you are required to answer all questions in this session. Question two, you are required to answer all the questions there. That's the instruction. So you want to quickly read through the requirement to see the one that you will start to answer first. All right, Adenike, welcome. So please tell us where you are joining us from so that we can acknowledge your presence. Ifeoluwa, thank you very much. So if you are also um, let's know where you are joining us from so that we can acknowledge your presence. All right. So so you are so spend the 15 minutes reading, because that first 15 minutes you are not expected to start answering the question, right? If you start writing, the examiner might seize your paper. So you're only to start reading. So read through the requirement and see which one you will answer first. That's what you want to do with the 15 minutes. So these are a question here. You say, which of the following is not the core objective of accounting? Like I said, we are not answering this question, right? We're not really answering them. We're not answering this question. So this is what you meet in the exam. One question up to question 20. Some are theory, some are calculation, right? That's how you meet them in your exam. So some will take more time, some will take less time. Now remember that you have been given how many hours? 3 hours. So question one, it means that you see you have 3 hours. 3 hours times 60 minutes will give us 180 minutes, right? So if we divide that by 100, it means that you should not spend more than 1.8 minutes for 1 mark question. 1.8 minutes for 1 mark question. So remember that this is 20 marks for question one. So it means that for question one, if you multiply 1.8 minutes by 20, you should not spend more than 36 minutes for session one. So when we say you shouldn't spend 1 hour, 8 minutes, I mean 1.8 minutes, what does it really mean? It means that, no, what am I even saying? 1.8 minutes simply mean that um, 0.8 times 60 plus 60. It means that you should not spend more than 108 seconds for each question. 108 seconds is the same thing as 1.8 minutes. So if you have your timer in the exam, how should you go about this? All right, I go here to show my screen. This is not how your exam paper will look like, but This is just to make an illustration if you want to answer question 1. So this is question 1 if you want to answer it. So you put here session A on the front of your sheet and you label 1 to 20 the way I've done here. So you see 1 to 20 here, right? So when you start answering question 1, right, don't spend more than 108 seconds or 1.8 minutes per question because they carry 1 mark each, right? So don't waste time. Any question that you read, once you don't understand it, go to the next one, right? Don't answer it yet. You can see this is just an example here. You can see here now that I answer number 1, number 4, number 7, number 10, number 13, and the other one. You can see number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I didn't answer number 20. So you don't have to fill in everything. Just leave them and go over to the section B. If this is the one you are answering first, make sure you put section A there because these are objective and all of this is supposed to be on one sheet or the next sheet, right? So that's how to answer that. So let's go back again. If you understand that, please let me know in the chat box that you understand what I've just said. Let me know in the chat box. Remember to ask your question. Just say, yes, I get you. I understand you. Or wonderful. Just give me a feedback so that I'll be sure that you are following me. So while I'm waiting for that, I go to the session 2. So you see session B, rather, you say you are required to answer any 4 out of the 6 here. Now, look at what I was saying earlier on. So let's go back to what we saw at the beginning here. So I'm just scrolling back here. You will see that the instruction in this paper looks a little bit misleading, right? Look at this one. It says here, instruction. Okay. No. Sorry, I think I got it wrong here. When they say you are required to answer all questions in this session, it means session A. It say write only the alphabet A, B, C, D, or E that correspond to the correct option in each of the following question or statement. Question A, you are required to answer all the 20 questions. Whereas session B, there are 6 questions, you are required to answer only 4. Now, what's the meaning of that? I'll tell you something that some students do. It is possible that when you get to session B, you know all the 6 papers. All the 6 questions. You can answer all the 6 questions. It's very possible that you can do that. Now, if that is what happened, choose only the best 4. If you answer all the 6, then what happens is that the examiner will choose the best 2 that you have and they will cancel it. Right, that's what happened. Because the examiner is saying you are required to answer just 4 out of 6 here. So don't go and answer 5. Some students will do Asabi too much or I know book too much. The examiner is not impressed if you do that. They will pick the one that you answer best and cancel it out, right? So remember that I say your 15 minutes is to read the requirement. So during that 15 minutes, this question 1, for instance, say the following balashim were extracted. If you start reading all of this, look at it. You start reading all of this, 15 minutes may have gone before you finish reading it. So you are not expected to start reading the body of the question. You just come straight to the requirement. So this place says, using extended trial balance, prepare statement of profit and loss of whaling. Here you know that the statement of profit and loss and statement of financial position. So if you are going to answer this question, then you tick it. Don't start reading the body of the question. You go to question 2. Question 2, thankfully, does not have too much grammar or case study there. You just say explain. Remember, we have already spoken about this when we started this webinar. This place said explain what is meant by source document. The B part say define book of prime entry. The C part say list 6 uses of journal. Now, this kind of question now is what you call easy mark. So in the exam, you don't have to start with number 1 or number 2 or number 3, right? You can start with question 2. And if that is what you choose to do, then see what you must do here. So I'm going back to the beginning of my sheet here so that you don't have to start with, okay, You don't have to start with the first ones. You can see here I'm starting with question 3. So if question 3 has A, you write on the sheet 3A like this, right? Don't come and start question 3B at the middle like this. Don't do that. No, that's why I put a X sign here. So just go to the next sheet and put question 3A, continue. Then the next one, 3B. Make sure you start 3A and 3B on a new sheet. Why is that? Sometime in the exam, right? Let's come back to this place that I'm looking at. Maybe you want to answer this very one now. Maybe you don't even know what A is, right? Explain what is meant by source document. You don't know that one, but you know what B is and you know what C is, right? So you come to your question. That's why you come here and you leave space there. Put here 3A. Open the next one, 3A, continue, and you go to 3B and you start answering 3B. When you finish 3B, then if you still need more space, you put 3B, continue. Remember to put continue here and start writing here. Then go to a new sheet and put 3C and start writing your 3C. So you find out that if you follow that approach, this is 6 mark here, easy mark. This is another 4 mark, easy mark. And this question usually will be one of the easiest to answer. So you go into that and start answering that. So the same thing, there's even D here. Am I right? Yes, there's D. The D part says, state 6 steps necessary for converting from single entry and incomplete record to double entry, 6 mark. This one says state 6 steps. So all this story that he puts here is not necessary. State 6 steps. So this story here is just a diversion. That's why if you read the requirement, even if they don't put this thing here, right? Even if they don't put it here, you will know how to, if you already know how to convert single entry to an incomplete record to double entry, then you will just go ahead and answer that. So I hope we get that. So Gloria, thank you. Gloria says she is taking notes of that. All right. So so that's how you answer that one. So remember that that's how you do that. Then you don't need to start with calculation courses first. You can go scroll through and answer the one that are theoretical, like I've just told you in the question 2 is the only theoretical one here. Then leave enough space, right? Leave enough space when you are going on. So I'll now go to how you should number your question. So let me come back here. This is 3A. When you come over here, 3A, continue. Always do it that way. The reason is very obvious. You see, your question paper has perforation somewhere here. They perforate it, right? I hope I'll be able to show you how it looks like in the exam. Yes, I think I have them here. I will show you just briefly. All right, so make sure that you leave those enough space. All right, then let me go on here before I round up. I think I have less than 10 minutes more to go. So see the way I numbered all my sheets here. Remember that they don't have to follow chronological order. Like here now, I'm possibly starting with question 3, 3A, 3B, 3B continue, 3C, 3C continue, 3D, 3D continue. Then I go to question 5A. So you see, I didn't start question 4. I go to 5, if that is the next easiest one I can do. So make sure you do the easiest question. Start from the easiest to the toughest. So this is 5A. Let me go back. This is 5A, 5A continue, 5B, 5B continue. Why am I putting continue here? Unless I'm answering it, if I'm not sure that this place will take 5A, then I must make sure I give enough space here before I go and answer 5C, right? Or 5B, as the case may continue, as the case may be. All right, Gloria says she can't hear me. Dari, can you hear me? Can you just unmute? Can you unmute and respond?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. It's clear.
All right. Okay, Gloria, you might just refresh your screen. You might refresh your browser so that you can hear me. Please remember to leave your question down here. We'll soon be rounding up now. So when you are writing, right, see the way I've numbered them here. All right, now go back here again for the time management. Remember that the exam has 3 hours. That's what we have here, 3 hours. multiply that by 60 minutes, gives us 180 minutes, right? So it therefore means that if we divide 180 minutes here, right? If we divide it by 100, we have 1.8 minutes per 1 mark. So if you see a 10-mark question, it means that you should not spend more than 18 minutes on that 10-mark question. So if we come back to this question now, so you found out that this question 5, for instance, read the requirement, like I said, read the requirement. So before you go ahead, see this one, I say you are required to prepare, right? Receivable ledger control, 7 mark. So you multiply the 7 mark by 1.8. Why? To know how many minutes you spend. The 1.8 times 7, you mustn't spend more than 12 minutes, 12.6 minutes. Let me abbreviate it as 6 minutes. 12 minutes for this 7-mark question. This A. This one, second one say purchase ledger control account. So, and it's 6 marks. So how do you get the minutes you must use? 1.8 multiplied by 6. You mustn't spend more than 10.8 minutes, which is approximately 10 minutes on that. Then here, say list 4 uses of control account. You see, this C, you don't need to even know A and B to answer C. So this is 4 mark. Here, D say outline 6 accounting error that cannot be discovered by means of trial balance. So C and D are 7 marks. You see? So these are easy mark. That's why I told you that you don't even have to start from A or B. You can go to C and D. But remember to itemize your paper, answer sheet properly. So you see, that's why I said here, if I go back to 5, I say 5A, and I come here, I say 5A continue. This is because when I'm doing this, remember that this is a trial balance for 5 here. If that first sheet cannot take it, I can continue in the second sheet. I don't know if you are, okay, yeah, Samuel said I can hear you. Okay, Gloria said I can hear you now. Thank you very much. So so remember, if you are leaving space in between, right? So that's why if you say 5A here, you don't know whether this place will take the whole of 5A. You leave the space by saying 5A. Here you say 5A continue. Even though also you are not sure if this place will take 5A, right? But don't worry, you go to the next and say 5B, then 5B continue. Then you go to 5C and you start answering that. If you get that finished, you go to 5C continue. If you still need additional space, then you go to 5G and answer that. Please let me know if you are following me. So then I go back. I said, what about when you come back and you start 5A? Page 1 is full up. Page 2 is full up. What do you now do? You must ask for extra sheets. So I'll stop sharing this thing now so that you'll see what I want to share with you here. So this is how the exam. This is a little bit rough. It's not supposed to be rough like this, but I've been using them for other presentation. So just pardon me if it looks a little bit rough to you. So Dari, you had my eye here. You tell me if you can see what I have on the screen. What can you see there?
4A.
Thank you. So this is how your exam sheet will look like. It will have a perforation. It will be perforated. You can see a perforated hole here, either by the side here or at the top. So you see how I put 4A here. So assuming that I'm doing 4A and the whole of this place is filled up, and I have already written 4B continue here, right? So remember that the third one here is 4C. Can you see that, Dari?
Yes, I can see it. I can see it. It's clear.
Yes. So remember that 4A and 4B, you can see that 4A and 4B and 4A have been written on this sheet, continue, right? So you can now ask for extra sheets that you can attach if this 4A will take more than front and back. I don't know if you are getting my point. If this 4A will take front and back, you can now ask for extra sheets since you have already written 4B in the other one, right? So that's how you can arrange everything. So you don't have to start with 4A or 4B. You can go and answer 4C and 4D. Those are called easy marks. So I'll show us again what easy marks look like. This C here, You say list 4 uses of control account. 4 mark, that's an easy one to get. Then outline 6 accounting error. 3 mark, that's another one. So if I scroll down to question 6, you might also come down here and see another easy one. If you can't find any easy one here, you just go away. Look at this one now. It's a 20-mark question, and they didn't break it down. You say you are required to prepare for Chop and Chop Club, opening statement of financial position. Then, so this one now, you can just divide this 20 mark by 4, which means each of them here is 5 mark. But that's not what I'm saying you should do. But if that's what you do in the exam, make sure you don't spend more than, how many minutes? 1.8 times 20 mark gives us 36 minutes. You must not spend more than 36 minutes on any 20 mark question. So, all right. So if you are with me and you are giving me, give me a reaction. Give me a reaction. Let me know if you are really enjoying what we have been doing. Give me a reaction there. Give me a reaction, please. Tell me in the comment section that I'm enjoying what you are doing, sir, so I can know that you are with me. All right, while I'm waiting for your feedback on that before I round up. So what we have done today, people will go into the exam hall and they will come out and fail because they don't understand this technique. So most students don't necessarily pass the exam. And we see a student telling us that I went to do this exam. The people I'm even teaching before the exam said that they were coming to me that was putting through, they passed and I failed. So this is likely what happened in those exams. So then the other one is that, like I've told us already, go for the easy marks. Remember, you need only 50 marks to pass this exam. Don't go for the most difficult question. Then when you are finished, right, and you're now about to submit your question, submit your answer, you go back to your answer sheet again and start reading through. Remember that this objective one, you go back to your question session 1, the objective one, and read through the one that you have not answered, right? If you still cannot get the answer, then put a guess. For instance, if they say 5 minutes to go, just go to that your question 1 and start writing here. Maybe it's A. You put here A, right? You come here and put A. You put C. You just do like a gambling here. Put D. Put A again. Just fill in all these places. Don't leave anyone blank, because once you answer it, you have 25% chance, right, of getting the right answer. So, and there's no negative marking, which means if you don't get it right, account is not going to deduct your mark. So you are permitted to guess anyone you don't know here, but leave that guess till the end of when you are about submitting your question, your answer script. Don't start guessing now. Why? Because when you start going through the section B, there are some answers you will now see that relates to what you have done here. Because some of those stories they are giving there, some of them will give you a clue to the answer in the objective question. All right. Thank you very much. You say, yes, Samuel, sir, I'm enjoying you. Then, yeah, thank you. I'm with you, sir. That's very good. So, yes. So that's how we want to talk about that. So I'll then share another part of my, yes. So Dari, you can please share your screen again. Why, oh, okay. I wasn't even sharing my screen. Just a moment before you go. Let me share my screen to explain the point I was just making before the students. Yeah. So this is a session I was making here. So you come back to your session and start filling this place once you are about to submit your answer sheet. All these places that don't leave any place blank in your objective. Make sure you guess. Just guess the answer. It doesn't matter because you could guess right. So if you don't answer it at all, then you have 0 chance of getting it right. But if you guess the answer, then you have 25% or thereabouts chance of guessing it right, right? Either 25% or 20% of guessing it right when you're about submitting your question. All right, Dari, you can please share your screen so that, again, and then share the slide and go to the next one before we round off. So how should you prepare for this exam? Sometimes you are student will go and buy, if you are preparing for FA, you will go and get Frankwood 1, Frankwood 2. They are brilliant. It's a brilliant textbook. Or you go and get Icon Pack. It's a massive volume like this. It's also a brilliant pack. But the problem is that you don't have enough time. So that's why we came up with our video lecture. I'll give you the reason why. Yes, that way your screen is okay. I can see. So the reason why we came up with the video lecture, no, please go down one step more. No, just go down to that's yes, leave it here, please. So the reason why we came up with the video lecture was that about 10 years or 12 years ago, we used to run physical classes, right? So we realized that um, those who get our video lecture then were performing better than those who come for physical classes. So we decided to do a research to find out why. So we found out that it is not that physical classes is bad, no. We found out that sometimes the students miss classes, and once you miss physical classes, does the lecturer repeat the class? Can you please answer in the chat box? When you miss your class, you didn't go for your ICANN classes, or even when you were in the university, would the lecturer repeat the class for you? Please answer me if you are in the chat box, just to be sure you are following. So, is anybody there to answer me? Does the lecturer repeat the class for you? For everybody that missed the class? Even when you miss the class, you come and meet the lecturer will say, no, don't worry, I will give you another class, just like that. Do lecturer do that? That way?
No,
lecturer,
sir.
all right. So we found out that those who miss the classes, they are unable to repeat that class. But once they get the video lecture, right, they don't miss the class because you can always go through the video lecture over and over again. And you see, some of them are busy in their workplace. You can miss class for any genuine reason. It might be because of work. Remember, you need the work to pay your bill. You need your job to pay your salary. So your job is in necessity. So that's why we came up with the video lecture. So we also advise our students, make sure you go through the video lecture at least 2 times before the exam. If you go through the video lecture at least 2 times before the exam, then you can now add ICANN pack and any other material you have. Then the video lecture, apart from the lecture that cover the syllabus, we also have 12 diet ICANN pass question that we have solved, both the objective and the theoretical part, the session 1 and session 2. So make sure you go through that as well. So once you get the video lecture, you will get the video lecture, you get the question and answer, and you also get the question and answer pack, the ICANN pack, the solution to the ICANN pack, that study pack that ICANN gives. There are questions there. We have extracted all those questions and provided the answer. These are all the things you get there. So then when you use video, you save your time, you save about 60% of your time that you would have used to study, or that you save time. So if you need to save time, make sure you use video lecture. And remember, our video lecture have a very good quality, right? So if you want to get it, that is the number on the screen. Make sure you call the number, or you WhatsApp, or you send text message. If you call and we are not able to pick it now, we will return your call. Either on Monday or Tuesday, we will return your call if you call over the weekend or on Sunday. If you send a WhatsApp or text message, we will respond. We will get back to you, as I have said. All right. So that's the point. So I will check through. Does anybody have any question before we bring this webinar to a close? Any question? So if you have question, put it there. If you don't have any question, give us a comment, give us a reaction. Tell us, okay, Samuel, thank you very much. So give us an emoji to show that if you enjoyed the session. As you prepare for your exam, we commit you into God's hand. As you go and do this exam, you will come out successful. So you don't have to go to the exam hall and not pass. In fact, some of our students say when they get to the exam hall, when they read the question, they hear the lecturer reading the answer to them while they are in the exam hall. And somebody will say, not be juju be that. No, it's not juju. You see, when you listen to a music over and over and over and over, some of you have that, you must have come across what I'm saying. Dari, I don't know if it has happened to you. When you listen to a music over and over and
Yes,
over
sir.
and
That's true, sir.
over, after a while, the music will start playing back, even though you are not making any conscious effort to remember it. The music will start playing back in
That's
your mind. So it's the same
yeah.
thing when you go through the video lecture at least 2 times before the exam. In the exam hall, you will start hearing the lecturer talking to you because you start hearing the voice of the lecturer talking to you again in the exam. So because you have gone through it at least 2 times. So um, I will come to a close here. Thank you, Gloria. Gloria is giving a clap. Should I call it clap off? All right. Manuel say, please, sir, some tips for skill level. Yeah, you will need to join the webinar class for skill level because we are doing this for every papers, right? We are doing it for every paper because every paper is unique in its own self, right? Every paper is unique in its own self. So we are not trying to answer skill here. This is for FA, right? So if you are not a member of our Telegram class, please join our Telegram class. Text or WhatsApp the message, the number on the screen. It's free. So there we'll share the tips with you. We will also post the replay link of this webinar there. So just WhatsApp and say, I want to join your Telegram class. It's free. Our Telegram class is where we paid our lecturer to come and provide classes for free. I don't know if any other person is doing that, right? Most other people, I don't think any other, I don't know, but whether you buy our video lecture or not, join our Telegram classes. Telegram is just like WhatsApp group and so on, right? So join our Telegram classes. Once you join our Telegram classes, we also give you the blueprints. We have the blueprints that will help you cover the entire syllabus within 30 days. Within 30 days. So make sure you get the blueprint, and we'll tell you what chapter to go through, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, so that you can cover the syllabus. Remember, you must try to cover the syllabus. Don't overdwell on one topic alone. Make sure you have a full grasp of every topic in the syllabus. All right. So Samuel here says, good afternoon, sir. With this nitty-gritty and blueprint, I will pass FA because this is my third time. My success is guaranteed, God's willing. The video lecture at Upnich, I shall testify. Yes, we will come and share with you, share your joy by the time this exam is over. So on that note, I want to bring this webinar to a close. Thank you all. So like I said, if you want the replay link, go to our Telegram class. Just WhatsApp the number on the screen that you want to join the Telegram class. They'll send you the link. If you don't get it now, you will get it on Monday or during working hour once we resume. So thank you very much. So Dari, I don't know if you still have anything you want to tell them before we go.
Yes. Yeah. I want to just encourage you all that based on what the MD has said, you've gotten the best to pass this exam. So just keep reading, keep studying, and success will be yours. Okay? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for that. So don't expect results without work. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. So let's put in the work. We have done our own part. Let's expect that you do your own part. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, everyone who have joined us here. So do have a great day, everyone. Bye.